Hey, stop throwing away your banana peels and stop skipping the boring foods at the grocery store, because what I'm about to share with you today completely overturns everything you thought you knew about keeping your legs strong after 60. I'm not talking about expensive supplements or trendy superfoods you've never heard of. I'm talking about 8 specific science-backed foods that most doctors never mention during a routine checkup. Foods that could be the difference between climbing stairs with confidence at 75 and holding on to a railing just to get off the couch. I'm Doctor, and I've spent over 2 decades working with patients in orthopedic surgery and rehabilitation medicine. And I need to tell you something that genuinely shocked me when I first read the research. A landmark study out of Tufts University's Human Nutrition Research Center on Aging found that adults over 60 who made targeted dietary changes lost up to 40% less muscle mass over a 5-year period compared to those who didn't, without changing their exercise routine at all. 40% just from food. And yet, almost nobody is talking about this at the level it deserves. Now, before we dive into the full list, I want to tease something for you, because number 2 on today's countdown is going to surprise you. It's something most of you probably already have in your kitchen right now, something you may have even been told to avoid. So make sure you stay with me all the way through, because that one could genuinely change the way you think about your daily meals. But first, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment right now and tell me how old you are and whether you've noticed any changes in your leg strength over the past few years. Maybe climbing stairs feels harder, or getting up from a chair takes more effort than it used to. I personally read every single comment on this channel, and your answer helps me create videos that are actually useful to you. So go ahead, leave that comment now. I'll be reading them. All right, let's get into it. We're counting down from 8 to 1, ranked from most helpful to the absolute most powerful food for leg strength after 60. Let's begin. Coming in at number 8, and this one tends to get overlooked completely at the grocery store, we have Tart cherries. Now I know what you're thinking, fruit for leg strength? But hear me out, because the science here is genuinely compelling. Researchers at the University of Vermont conducted a study where participants who drank Tart cherry juice experienced 22% less muscle strength loss after strenuous activity compared to those who drank a placebo. 22%! And the mechanism behind this is something called inflammation-mediated muscle breakdown, which is a fancy way of saying that chronic low-grade inflammation, the kind that quietly builds up in your body after decades of living, actively eats away at your muscle tissue. After 60, your body's natural ability to quench that inflammation slows down significantly. Tart cherries are extraordinarily rich in anthocyanins, which are powerful antioxidant compounds that essentially act like firefighters inside your muscle cells, putting out the inflammatory fire before it causes damage. Think of it like this. Inflammation is a slow leak in your gas tank, and Tart cherries help seal that leak. For practical use, 8 ounces of Tart cherry juice in the morning, or a small handful of dried Tart cherries, not the sweetened kind, with breakfast is your target. Pair them with a source of vitamin C, like a few slices of orange, because vitamin C enhances anthocyanin absorption by up to 30%, according to research published in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry. Scientific references, as always, are linked in the description below. Number 7 is one that I feel passionately about because it's wildly underused, and that is sardines. Now before you click away, I had a patient, Margaret, 71 years old, from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, who came to me after a minor fall that left her shaken and scared. She had lost significant strength in both legs, struggled to rise from her armchair without using both hands, and had started avoiding stairs altogether. Within 4 months of making targeted dietary changes, sardines being a cornerstone, she told me she walked up 2 flights of stairs unaided for the first time in 3 years. Sardines are one of the most complete muscle-supporting foods on the planet. A single 3.5 ounce can gives you approximately 23 grams of high-quality protein, a substantial dose of omega-3 fatty acids, calcium, vitamin D, and vitamin B12, all in one affordable package. Here's why this matters so specifically for aging bodies. After about age 65, your body develops something called anabolic resistance, which means your muscles become less responsive to the protein you eat. They require more protein to trigger the same muscle-building response that a 30-year-old would get from a much smaller amount. The omega-3 fatty acids in sardines have been shown in research from Washington University in St. Louis to actually reduce anabolic resistance, essentially helping your muscles hear the protein signal more clearly. Think of anabolic resistance like a phone with poor reception, and omega-3s as a signal booster. Eat sardines 2 to 3 times per week. Add them to whole grain crackers. Mix them into a salad, or mash them with avocado. Pair with lemon juice. The acidity improves absorption of the calcium and iron, and try to consume them within 2 hours of any physical activity for maximum muscle uptake. Number 6 on our countdown is something that most people consider a breakfast side dish and nothing more: eggs, and specifically the whole egg, yolk included. For years, people were told to throw away the yolk. That advice, I'm here to tell you, was one of the most damaging pieces of nutritional guidance given to older adults in the last 40 years. A study from the University of Illinois found that men who ate whole eggs after resistance exercise experienced 40% greater muscle protein synthesis compared to those who ate only egg whites with the equivalent amount of protein. The yolk contains leucine, the single most important amino acid for triggering muscle growth, along with choline, healthy fats, and fat-soluble vitamins that amplify the entire muscle-building process. After 75, your body loses approximately 35% of its efficiency in synthesizing muscle protein from dietary sources. The nutrient density of the whole egg helps compensate for that declining efficiency in a way that egg whites simply cannot. 2 to 3 whole eggs per day is a well-supported target for healthy older adults. Have them in the morning with a slice of whole grain toast. The complex carbohydrates help shuttle the amino acids into your muscle cells more efficiently. And if you've been told to watch your cholesterol, please speak with your personal physician. But know that current research from Harvard Medical School suggests dietary cholesterol from eggs has far less impact on blood cholesterol in most people than was previously believed. Number 5 is something I want you to think of as your leg's best friend. Not because it made Popeye strong, though there's actually something to that, but because of a compound called phytoecdysteroids, specifically one called ecdysterone. Researchers at the Free University of Berlin conducted a controlled study and found that participants supplementing with ecdysterone, naturally present in spinach, showed a 33% greater increase in muscle mass compared to a placebo group over 10 weeks. Now here's the critical piece for anyone over 60. As we age, our mitochondria, the tiny power plants inside every muscle cell, begin to decline in both number and efficiency. This is called mitochondrial dysfunction, and it's a key driver of muscle weakness and fatigue in older adults. Spinach is loaded with nitrates, which your body converts to nitric oxide, a molecule that has been shown to directly improve mitochondrial efficiency by up to 25%, according to research published in Cell Metabolism. Think of your mitochondria like the engine in a car. Spinach essentially tunes that engine so it runs better on the same amount of fuel. 2 large handfuls of fresh spinach per day is your target. Saute it lightly in olive oil with garlic to preserve more nutrients than boiling, and pair it with a food rich in vitamin C to boost iron absorption, because iron deficiency is another silent contributor to muscle fatigue in older adults that often goes undiagnosed. Number 4 is a food I've been recommending to patients for years, and it never gets the recognition it deserves. That food is Greek yogurt. I want you to think of Greek yogurt like a dual-action muscle medicine, because it does 2 things simultaneously that almost no other single food does. First, it delivers a dense hit of high-quality protein, around 17 to 20 grams per cup, that is rich in both whey and casein protein. Whey works fast, flooding your muscles with amino acids within about 30 minutes. Casein works slowly, feeding your muscles over a 4 to 6 hour period. This dual action is particularly valuable for older adults because research from Maastricht University in the Netherlands showed that aging muscles benefit more from a sustained amino acid delivery than a single rapid spike. Second, Greek yogurt is rich in probiotics, beneficial bacteria that directly influence how well your gut absorbs nutrients, including protein, vitamin D, and calcium. After 60, gut health often declines, and with it, nutrient absorption efficiency drops measurably. Poor gut absorption means even a protein-rich diet may not be delivering what you think it is to your muscles. The probiotics in Greek yogurt help restore that gut lining and improve absorption by a clinically meaningful margin. Eat 1 cup of plain, full-fat Greek yogurt daily, ideally in the afternoon when muscle protein synthesis rates are naturally elevated. Add a tablespoon of ground flaxseed on top for an omega-3 boost that complements the protein beautifully. Right here at the midpoint of our list, I want to pause and say, if you are finding this valuable, if this is the kind of content you wish your doctor had shared with you years ago, please take 2 seconds right now and hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. It truly helps me reach more people just like you who deserve this information. There are thousands of seniors right now who are losing leg strength silently, month by month, not knowing that targeted nutrition could be making an enormous difference. Your click helps this video find them. Thank you. Now let's get into the top 3, and this is where things get really interesting. Number 3 in our countdown is something that might seem humble and unremarkable, but the science behind it is anything but. I'm talking about lentils. I had another patient I'll never forget, Harold, 78, from Portland, Oregon, a former high school football coach who came in barely able to walk from his car to my office without stopping to rest. His leg muscles had atrophied significantly, and he was on the verge of losing his independence. We rebuilt his diet around several of the foods on this list, and lentils became a daily staple. Within 6 months, Harold was walking his dog for 30 minutes every morning. Lentils are extraordinarily rich in plant-based protein, about 18 grams per cooked cup. But what makes them exceptional for aging muscles is their combination of protein, complex carbohydrates, and magnesium. Magnesium is the unsung hero of muscle function. It is directly involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions in the body, including muscle contraction, protein synthesis, and energy production. Researchers at the National Institutes of Health found that older adults with adequate magnesium levels had significantly better muscle performance, grip strength, and walking speed compared to those who were deficient. And an estimated 68% of adults over 60 are chronically low in magnesium. And lentils deliver approximately 18% of your daily magnesium target in a single serving. They're also slow digesting, which means they provide a sustained energy release that prevents the blood sugar crashes that can contribute to muscle fatigue. Cook a large batch on Sundays. Lentil soup, lentil salad, lentils with rice, and pair them with a source of vitamin B6, like a small piece of chicken or a banana, which helps your body metabolize the protein more efficiently. Number 2, and I promised you this one would surprise you. It's something that generations of older adults were told would damage their hearts and clog their arteries. Are you ready? It's beef, specifically lean red meat like sirloin or top round. Now I want to be very clear and precise here because the nuance matters enormously. I am not talking about processed red meat like sausage, bacon, or deli meats. The research on those is a separate and more complicated story. I'm talking about unprocessed, lean cuts of beef consumed 2 to 3 times per week. Here's why this lands at number 2. Beef is one of the most complete sources of what's called complete protein, meaning it contains all 9 essential amino acids in ratios that are almost perfectly matched to human muscle tissue. But what separates beef from other protein sources for older adults is its creatine content. Beef contains approximately 1 gram of creatine per 3.5 ounces. And creatine is a compound that has more research behind it for muscle strength in older adults than almost any other nutritional intervention. A meta-analysis of over 22 clinical trials published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research found that creatine supplementation improved muscle strength in older adults by an average of 24%. Getting creatine from whole beef means you're also getting it alongside iron, zinc, B12, and carnosine, a compound that directly buffers muscle acidity during exercise, allowing you to work your muscles harder before they fatigue. Think of carnosine like a shock absorber for your muscle cells. After 70, carnosine levels in muscle tissue can drop by as much as 50%. Eating lean beef helps replenish that. Aim for 4 to 6 ounces of lean beef 2 to 3 times per week. Marinate in olive oil and lemon. The combination of healthy fat and acid improves iron and zinc bioavailability. Pair your beef meal with a side of leafy greens to balance the meal's overall nutritional profile. And now at number 1, the single most powerful food for leg strength after 60, according to the science, is one that I suspect you may already eat, but almost certainly not in the right amount, at the right time, or with the right companions. That food is wild-caught salmon. A patient of mine named Dorothy, 82 years old from Scottsdale, Arizona, came to me after 2 knee surgeries, convinced that her best days of mobility were behind her. Her daughter had practically dragged her to my office. Dorothy was eating very little protein, almost no fish, and her diet was dominated by refined carbohydrates. Within 8 months of rebuilding her diet with salmon at its center, along with several other foods on this list, Dorothy was doing water aerobics 3 days a week. She told me, and I quote, "I feel like I got a decade back." Salmon earns the top spot because it addresses more mechanisms of age-related muscle loss simultaneously than any other single food. Let me walk you through why. First, salmon is one of the richest dietary sources of omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA, which, as I mentioned earlier, directly combat anabolic resistance. Research from the University of Stirling in Scotland demonstrated that omega-3 supplementation, equivalent to what you'd get from 2 servings of salmon per week, increased muscle protein synthesis in older adults by 56% over 12 weeks. 56%. Second, salmon is one of the few natural food sources of vitamin D3, the form your body can actually use. Vitamin D deficiency is epidemic among adults over 60, and it is directly linked to muscle weakness, poor coordination, and increased fall risk. A 3.5-ounce serving of wild-caught salmon delivers approximately 75 to 90% of your daily vitamin D target. Third, salmon contains significant amounts of creatine. Yes, fish contain creatine too, along with selenium, which protects muscle cell membranes from oxidative damage, and astaxanthin, a carotenoid pigment that gives salmon its pink color and has been shown in research from Fuji Chemical Industries to reduce exercise-induced muscle damage by up to 40%. Think of astaxanthin like a protective coating on the inside of your muscle fibers. And fourth, this is the one most people never hear about. Salmon is rich in a compound called carnitine, which is essential for transporting fatty acids into your mitochondria to be burned for energy. After 65, carnitine levels drop substantially, and that drop directly contributes to muscle fatigue and weakness. Eating salmon helps restore that carnitine supply naturally. Your target is 2 to 3 servings of wild-caught salmon per week, not farmed, because the omega-3 content is dramatically lower in farmed varieties. A serving is about 4 to 6 ounces. The best time to eat it is in the evening, 2 to 3 hours after any walking or exercise you've done during the day. This is when your muscles are most receptive to nutrients for repair and rebuilding. Pure salmon with a serving of roasted sweet potato. The complex carbohydrates and beta-carotene create a synergistic effect that enhances vitamin D absorption and extends the muscle protein synthesis window by an additional 2 to 3 hours, according to research from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. Now, let me bring this all together for you, because I think you deserve to hear this clearly and directly. After 60, after 70, after 80, your body has not given up on you. It is not too late. The science is unambiguous on this point. Muscle can be rebuilt, strength can be restored, and the quality of your daily life can be transformed through the choices you make at your kitchen table. I have watched patients in their late 70s stand up straighter, walk further, climb stairs they had avoided for years, play with their grandchildren on the floor, and travel to places they thought were no longer possible for them, all because they started treating food as medicine. The independence you want, the dignity you deserve, the ability to move through your world without fear or hesitation is such. It is not gone. It is waiting. And it can start with a can of salmon, a bowl of lentils, and a cup of Greek yogurt. You have more power here than anyone has probably told you. Use it. If this video gave you something valuable today, please subscribe to this channel and hit the bell so you never miss an episode. We are here every week with science-backed, medically grounded information designed specifically for adults over 60 who refuse to accept that slowing down is inevitable. And I have one final question for you in the comments. Which of these 8 foods are you going to add to your diet first? Let me know below. Tell me your age. Tell me where you're watching from. And tell me what your biggest challenge has been with leg strength. I read every single comment, and your story might just be featured in a future video. Thank you for watching. Take care of those legs. They have a lot more miles left in them.